Yay, technical difficulties!
Hooray!
The same thing happened last week.
Well, we didn't go off the air, though, last week.
No, we didn't. We were still on the air the whole time we were talking about it.
Oh, well.
We'll just skip to the next part.
Do it live. Fuck it.
Yep. This is why we do it live.
Yep. It just wouldn't be the same without all the fuck-ups.
Are we back on?
Yeah, no, we're back on. It's time for Atheist Bible Study.
Are we back on?
Yeah.
We're live? Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to say I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. My laptop, apparently wasn't plugged in all the way, and it was like, fuck you, I'm not plugged in all the way, I'm gonna shut down.
No. Well, do it live! Fuck it!
Yeah, that. So, you got the gist of the last thing, you know.
Feminazi stole my ice cream.
Feminazi stole my ice cream. Young dude in love with an unattainable chick, using male entitlement to complain about it. Alright, so Atheist Bible Study. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about slavery.
Oh, that's not fun.
No, not really.
Alright, so I looked it up on a Skeptic's Annotated Bible, and there's a ton of shit about slavery in the Bible. And of all the stuff the Bible says about slavery, it never once says, hey, don't own another human.
Right? No, because the apologists will try to argue that it's only indentured servitude, but that's only for other Jews. That's not for people out, that's not for the nations around you, which it explicitly says are A-okay for you to own.
When they try to claim it's indentured servitude, they're usually talking about Exodus 21, where it says, if you buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. That is the indentured servitude, which I could still say is fucked up.
It's still fucked up.
Still not good.
It's basically just exploiting the poor.
And the thing is, they ignore 2 verses later where it says, if his master have given him a wife, I can't.
Because you could give people wives.
Yeah. And she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her masters, and he shall go out by himself. So basically, this applies to male servants. If you're a male indentured servant, and you get a wife, and you have sons and daughters with them, you'll go free, but your wife and children will still be owned by somebody else. And the only way to stay with them is to say, I love my master, my wife, and my children. Master first.
Yep.
I will not go out free. And then they'll bore his ear through with an awl. I don't know what that is. A stake.
Basically, they'll make you look like a hipster.
Yeah, and he shall serve look like a hipster. And he shall serve him forever. So basically it's like, oh, you have a wife and children? You want to stay with them? Well, I guess you'll have to be my slave.
Guess you're gonna be my slave for life.
That's not really a choice. That's coercive, and it's bullshit. And any actual loving God would have been like, cut that shit out. But
yeah, why isn't don't own other human beings one of the 10 Commandments?
I don't know. It would be one of mine.
Right? Neither is don't rape, by the way.
Yeah, I know. And Exodus 21:7 specifies that if a man sells his daughter to be a maidservant, she shall not go out as the men servants do. So she wouldn't be free the same way the men would be.
Well, because once you've used up a woman once, what good is she, right?
Obviously not at all.
You're only selling her for her virginity.
Because the very next verse says, if she please not her master, who hath betrothed her to... I can't say this King James version bullshit while I'm drunk.
Fucking King James.
Who hath betrothed her to himself, then shall he let her be redeemed. To sell her unto a strange nation he shall have no power, seeing he hath dealt deceitfully with her. I cannot read King James version while I'm drunk.
It's like a new drinking game.
A new drinking game?
How many times do you fuck up talking about?
Do I have to drink?
The King James Bible.
Do I have to drink every time I fuck up? Because I'll get. I think that will lead to alcohol poisoning.
Probably. That's what the Adventure Time drinking game is about, actually. That's coming up in the next segment.
I forgot there was a drinking game.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right. Shit. Hold on. And apparently, according to Exodus 21:20-21, if you hit or like beat your servant and they die, then you'll be punished. But if after a day or two they live, then you'll be all right. Because he is his money.
Yep.
That's exactly what it says. He is his money. He's his property. So as long as they don't die, you can beat the shit out of them however you want.
My favorite is when they're like, well, that's Old Testament. So yeah, there's a lot of things in the Bible, specifically in Exodus and Leviticus, about slaves. But then there's shit about slaves in the New Testament too.
Yes, there is.
Like Jesus does. At no point does Jesus say, "Hey guys, by the way, not cool to own other people."
Ephesians 6:5. 6:5. I cannot even say numbers.
Here, I'll read this one.
Okay, you read it. All right.
Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling and singleness of your heart, as unto Christ. So basically, you should love your masters as much as you love Jesus. And Tom's doing a really good job of trembling.
Making me laugh out loud. Lol.
Lol.
And then 1 Timothy. 1 Timothy 6:1. Let as many servants as are under the yoke count their own masters worthy of all honor, that the name of God and his doctrine be not blasphemed.
So basically, all of the New Testament is like, hey, you should be a happy slave.
Yeah.
Like, that's what all of the New Testament is.
And it's, if you've ever read anything about,
Yep. Tom just said, who knew the Bible was in favor of BDSM?
I wouldn't even call this BDSM, because BDSM, like...
implies consent.
Yeah, their whole model is safe, sane, consensual.
Yep.
And none of this sounds like any of those three things. It seems like if you've looked into the history of especially American slavery, a lot of the evangelicalism that was spread to the slaves with Christianity was specifically so that they would be happy in their servitude.
Yep.
And that's just absolutely awful. They were using it in order to say, hey, be happy you're a slave. God commands it, basically. And I really don't understand why an all-knowing, all-powerful God couldn't have just said, don't own people.
Right.
It's bad. And if you're a slave, fight against that shit.
Because you're allowed to.
I don't understand why they didn't do it. And yeah, there are probably there are definitely some anti-slavery verses in the Bible that you can use, because both in American history, both the abolitionists and the pro-slavery. I don't know how else to put that. They were pro-slavery. Assholes. Yeah. And the pro-slavery people had verses in their favor, which, you know...
Hooray, contradictory verses of the Bible.
I don't know how you can be contradictory about that. You either should own people or you shouldn't.
Well, you know, it makes perfect sense if it's just like a hodgepodge compilation of random shit people have said over the years. It doesn't make sense if it's divinely inspired, though. So there's that.
And then even it keeps going, like 1 Peter 2:18, servants, be subject to your masters with all fear, not only to the good and gentle, but also to the froward. I don't know what froward means.
I don't know. I'm guessing it's a typo. Does this say Jeebus?
Page 617 here. Look at page 617. Huh. It says Jeebus. And it's just so sad, really, to me, that I hear so many times from especially more liberal Christians that they see Jesus as this, like, great, like, political mover and shaker, and that he was, like, basically a revolutionary. And I'm like, what was so revolutionary about telling slaves to remain happy in their situation? I don't tell people who are oppressed to just be happy with what they get. No, I tell them to fight that shit. And I try to, as much as possible, you know, with internet activism, I guess.
Hooray, internet activism.
I don't have enough money for the real life activism.
I'm not looking down on internet activism.
Okay, good. Because that's what I can do for right now.
So yeah, lots of slavery in the Bible.
Lots of it.
That's pretty much all we got. Oh, not to mention prisoners of war that you can take, and rape, and there's all kinds of terrible things in the Bible. But this is just one tiny little corner of it.
Yeah.
So, hooray, Atheist Bible Study.
Hooray! If you have a suggestion for what we should talk about during our Atheist Bible Study, you can always email us at
secularshethinkers@gmail.com.
Thanks, I forgot what our email was. Like, immediately.
I got this.
secularshethinkers@gmail.com. Email us something you'd like us to talk about from the Bible, and we'll think about it. All right.
We'll be back to talk about Adventure Time.
Woo!
After this commercial break.
What's our commercial break about?
So hey, guess what, Dirty Nerdy?
What?
We're going to Skepticon next week.
What's Skepticon?
It's only the largest free thinkers conference in the whole world.
You said free twice in a row. I'm in.
I did. If you would like us to interview somebody who's going to be at Skepticon, just email us at secularshethinkers@gmail.com.
That's SHETHINKERS
Shethinkers.
secularshethinkers@gmail.com.
But as we've told you before, there's going to be a debate between Hannah Databoy and the Dirty Nerdy on which holy book is the most terrible towards women.
I hate to call it a debate. It's more like we're going to scream verses at each other.
That's not a debate?
I guess so.
It's a faux debate.
Yeah, faux debate. Because they both hate women.
It's true. Either way, nobody wins.
Oh, that makes me sad.
Except our listeners, because we're coming at you with a whole bunch of shit next weekend.
Woo!
So we may not broadcast Friday night at midnight, but we're going to make up for it in spades, so...
We won't be? I thought we were.
We probably will.
Okay.
I don't know.
We'll see what bar we're at that point.
We'll do it live.
Fuck it.
Fuck it. And we're back.
Oh, hello. Did they hear me say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's always fun to unmute when you're grumbling about something.
Grumbling about Dory's laptop fucking up. She gets to use mine.
I got nothing.
So we're gonna talk about Adventure Time tonight because Dory and I have both had like really shitty weeks, and when we are feeling shitty, we watch Adventure Time. It raises our spirits, and it's just wonderful.
Yeah, my go-tos for dealing with a shitty time are cuddling, watching Adventure Time, and playing video games. Those are my like go-to ways of dealing with shittiness in my life.
That sounds good.
Yep. So, I guess to tell you a little bit about why my week was shitty, not only did I come down with like some kind of awful sickness, like I had a crazy fever and couldn't keep any food down, and it was just no fun at all. And then my cat ran away last weekend. Thankfully, he showed up 3.5 days later. But
completely unexpected.
Completely unexpected. I had pretty much accepted that he was probably dead. So I was mourning quite a bit because he's been my buddy for 18.5 years.
He's a buddy.
Yep.
He really is. Baby is a sweet cat. And I was going to hug him when I got here tonight, but he was hiding from your dog. So I'll just wait. But
yep.
I'm going to hug him so hard, he's going to wish I didn't hug him so hard.
And he's the first person I ever came out to.
Because he's a person.
Because he's a person. He's my furry little person.
Alright, so I had a shitty week too. A couple of my shitty things are too personal to really share on the show. But
yeah.
Just believe me, it was terrifyingly, like, anxiety-ridden. And also, I had tomorrow off, like, the first Saturday in forever. And now I have to work, and I'm pissed about that. So I'm drinking, and they're just gonna have to deal with me being hungover. Fuck them.
Yup. Alright, so I guess to start us off, we have a drinking game for whenever you're watching Adventure Time.
Yeah. What's the drinking game?
This one is suggested, but I thought you and I could probably come up with our own things that cause you to drink.
Oh, we could.
Like, easily. But the ones that are suggested here is anytime someone uses a math term, like algebraic or mathematical.
Yeah.
Or
just so everybody knows.
I'm just going to assume that if you're still listening to the show, you also enjoy Adventure Time.
Also, spoilers. We're going to talk about shit.
Yep. If you haven't watched Adventure Time yet, just pause the show. Go watch Adventure Time, then you can come back and enjoy this.
There's probably about 12 hours of viewing time, so we'll see you in 12 hours.
Totally worth it.
Here, hold on, we're going to just be like, and you're back. You've watched Adventure Time. All right.
Adventure Time!
Come on, grab your friends. All right, we're not going to sing the whole thing here.
Nope.
We did that last week.
So, anyway, So someone uses a math term as a drink. Anytime Finn's love for Princess Bubblegum comes up as a drink. Anyone makes a scary face is a drink.
Is the wavy arm thing in there? I love that.
Anytime someone says bro or fist bumps.
Yeah, they say bro a lot. It's hilarious. It's like almost ironic. Like ironic use of the word
it
bro.
It really is.
It's great.
Any magic use. Whenever Marceline plays her bass, whenever Jake changes shapes,
that's
like
you would get so drunk just on that one.
When anyone says glob or lump instead of swearing.
Yeah. What the lump?
Whenever the waving snail shows up.
The waving snail?
The little snail. He shows up in every episode.
This. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Holy shit, I have to go rewatch every episode now and watch it.
Whenever
just for the snail.
Whenever Finn draws his sword, and if there's a song, you finish your drink. That was the suggestion for drinking time, is what they call it.
Drinking time.
But yeah, I would definitely add.
Well,
I would definitely add anytime their arms get all wavy.
I love the wavy arms. It's great because, like, Jake is supposed to be the magical one that can change shapes, and Finn, for the most part, has a normal human anatomy, but then, like, when he gets excited about something, his arms just, like,
get all wiggly.
I don't know how they get wiggly like that, but they do, and it's hilarious.
Because it's a cartoon.
I guess so. Cartoon physics. I would say anytime Princess Bubblegum is, like, skeptical.
Yeah.
The further along in the series you get, the more skeptical she is about magic, because she's all about the sciences, and it's great. I love that about her. Let me see.
I would say anytime there's a princess other than PB.
There's a lot of princesses.
Because that's one of my favorite running gags of the show, is that, like, every female character is a princess, just to make fun of the whole, like, princess protagonist thing.
And they're, like, ridiculous princesses.
Like Slime Princess, Hot Dog Princess, Princess Muscles is one of my favorites.
I love the Moon Bounce Princess.
Or Fetus Princess.
That one was great. No, I love the Moon Bounce one, because Finn and Jake go to this party, and they're like, sweet, a Moon Bounce! And they're wanting to get in it, and then suddenly the Moon Bounce starts talking, and they're like, oh, hi, Finn, I'm the Moon Bounce Princess. You can jump in me. And suddenly...
he's like, never mind.
It's great. I want to say, anytime the Ice King comes across, it's just plain pathetic.
So whenever you're sympathetic to the Ice King?
Yeah, he's pretty much... Oh, your battery's running low, by the way.
Oh, well, here's the cord right here.
He's pretty much, like, the main antagonist in the first and second season about. But then about halfway through the second season, he starts just being really pathetic. Like, he doesn't even seem like an actual villain. He's too pathetic for that.
He's a schmuck that they have to deal with from time to time.
Yeah.
And then by the fourth and fifth season, you, like, have feels for him.
I know. So many feels. Poor Simon.
I think whenever you have feels, watching the show should be a drink.
Yeah, when you get feels. The first time they talk about how Finn was found as a baby by Jake's parents.
Yep. That's
cute. They're like, Jake is my best friend, and also my brother, and he's a magic dog. Some of the stuff in the show, like, some of the, I guess, I don't know if it's, like, themes or messages, but...
There's, like,
like,
definitely feminism in there.
There definitely is. They have the hug wolf. It's like a werewolf, except for instead of biting, Finn has to hug people.
Like, he turns into a wolf that runs around hugging people, but he hugs them against their consent. And
you say it.
At one point, there's this angry torch-wielding mob who's going out to find the alpha wolf who infected Finn, basically, so that they can, I guess, kill it and get rid of the curse. And they're chanting, "No more hugs! No more hugs!" And then you hear, like, a little bit in the background of it, "Without consent."
That's not the only... They've mentioned, like, they've had little, like in the background type of, like, except for when it's consensual stuff. Before, I want to say the only episode that's really been problematic, like, I really just don't get it, because it doesn't really fit into the Adventure Time thing.
Is it the Mr. Pig and Tree Trunks one?
It's the Tree Trunks and Mr. Pig one. They get together and have this little romance, and in the beginning of the episode, everybody is just randomly turned off by their romance. I don't get it. Because they, like, in another episode, they have this whole thing about how you have to make out at the drive-in. But then later
That's in a different episode. It's not in the same episode.
It's not in the same episode. It's a different one. But a previous episode, Jake talks about how if you go to the drive-in on date night, you have to make out with whoever you're there with, basically.
You have to be there with somebody that you could kiss.
Yeah.
You don't have to kiss them, but you have to be capable of kissing them.
But then when Tree Trunks and Mr. Pig are making out at the drive-in, everyone flips out. They honestly flip out, and they tell them that they have to hide their love. And, I mean, the queer part of me just cringed at this whole episode.
Yeah.
They never really learned their lesson about how they shouldn't have tried to squelch their love for each other. It was more, they just saw how sad they were and eventually were like, okay, you can be together, type of thing.
They were like, I'm tolerant of your love of each other.
And they never explained why everybody flipped out about it.
No.
Because other couples in the show have, like, kissed each other in front of other people and no one flipped out.
So it's not like a public affection thing.
Yeah, I did not really understand this show. When the boy and I watched it for the first time, we had to pause it multiple times. Because it was making both of us so uncomfortable. We were just like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Why is everyone freaking out? They're not really explaining this. And I guess I could chalk it up to the overall randomness of the show.
Yeah.
But usually it's like there's some sort of character motivation or something behind what they're doing. But this time, there just wasn't.
Yep.
It was weird.
One bad episode in 5 seasons worth of a show, you know.
And there are still funny parts of that episode, but it really made me uncomfortable. I didn't like it very much.
Yeah.
But
that's the only episode I would just, you could straight up avoid that episode. Like,
you could.
It's not.
I don't think the Tree Trunks and Mr. Pig thing ever comes up again.
No, I don't think it does. So.
One of my favorite things was, I think it's the last episode of the first season, when or maybe it's the second season, but Jake's hanging out with Marceline for the entire episode, and they're like, have this whole adventure together, and then Marceline at the very end is like, hey, I have a question. And he goes, what? And she goes, what's up with the little pocket? And he goes, oh, Jake's in there. It's so, like, this entire episode, they've had this whole adventure, and he's even, like, talked about Jake in the third person at some point. And at that last scene, you find out that Jake was there the whole time, just hanging out in his pocket, really small.
I love when he carries Jake in his little pocket.
It's adorable. It's so cute.
So, can we talk about the gender swap episodes? Because
yes, I love that. Fiona
I'm pretty sure I'm going to be Fiona for Halloween next year.
I love it. I love the Fiona and Cake episodes. Especially the one where Marceline takes over the writing of it.
Yeah.
It's great. And she brings in the gender-flopped vampire.
Yep.
And he's just a bad boy.
Yep. I like that they do the gender swap thing, but the show is not... The show is... It is exactly the same as it is, and it's not exactly the same as it is. You know, like... They're definitely still gendered. But the show's, like, overall weirdness and theme is still the same.
And I do want to say, the gender-flipped episodes are entirely supposed to be written from the Ice King's perspective.
They're supposed to be his shitty fan fiction.
Yeah, they're his fan fiction, but I love it.
I do too.
And again, the Ice King is this pathetic, lonely dude who is also apparently taking advice from a pickup artist. There's this book he reads. It's called Mind Games by J.T. Dogzone, and it focuses on how to get women. It is absolutely hilarious. They occasionally reference the book in the show, and there are quite a few fan conspiracy theories about this. Like, some people think that Jake the dog is actually J.T. Dogzone, because there are numerous episodes where Jake will quote something like, at one point he says, it's all about the ba-dumps in your heart. And there's another episode where they just use the book Mind Games as a prop. And if you zoom into the words on the page, like, they don't call any attention to it, but if you zoom into the words on the page, part of the quote talks about how it's all about the bumps in your heart. so it's like Jake is quoting the book, but he also makes fun of it in other episodes. He tells Finn not to pay too much attention to it because it's really just a shitty book.
Well, and he says, "Nah, man, I only keep that book around because it's funny to laugh at, or something like that."
Yeah, he wants to make fun of it. And he comes in at one point, and Jake has it's the miniature people episode where Jake gets all up into to the he gets this bag of miniature characters from the show and starts pairing them up randomly just to see what will happen. And when Jake comes back to the house, the tree house, he's got books propped up as basically just props for the miniature people's world. And he goes, "What are you doing? Reading trashy books?" And Mind Games is one of them. So they make fun of pickup artists, and the Ice King quotes this book all the time. It's really funny.
I love that they use Ice King to not only make fun of pickup artists, but also to make fun of nice guy syndrome on top of it.
He does. Totally does.
Because he's constantly being like, what? I'm a nice guy. Like, he's totally pulling the nice guy bullshit.
One of my favorite episodes is when Princess Bubblegum catches the Ice King like in her bedroom just stalking her, and she calls the banana guard to take him away, and he's like, "What? We really need to talk about our relationship." And he treats it as if they actually have like a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship when they really don't. Really, the fact of the matter is that he kidnaps her all the time.
Yeah.
They kind of I kind of like how they steer away from the Ice King kidnapping princesses. After the second season, they kind of stopped doing that a lot.
I mean, they still touch on it from time to time.
Yeah, they kind of make fun of it.
But he gets even crazier, and so kidnapping princesses isn't enough by the end of the second or third season.
Oh, no. At one point, he steals pieces.
Yeah, the amalgamation princess, freaks me the fuck out.
That was terrifying. I remember I was eating the first time I saw that episode, and I had to just put the food down.
And on the one hand, it's sweet how he treats the amalgamation princess, but no, just no.
Back to the whole princess thing. Almost every female character on the show is a princess,
except Dr. Princess. That's just
Princess.
a family name.
Yeah, they have Dr. Princess, who the Ice King actually tries to kidnap at one point. But then he doesn't because she's like, "Oh, well, that's just a family name. I'm not an actual princess."
And then the only other one I can think of who's not a princess is Lady Unicorn. Or Lady Rainicorn, I mean.
Lady Rainicorn. Yeah, she's not a princess, but she is royalty. Lady is...
Is she? I guess.
I always attribute that to royalty.
But they call her Lady, so it seems like that's just her first name.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
And she gets pregos.
Pregos. Yeah, it's weird. Like in the show, they have Jake's girlfriend, Lady Rainicorn, get pregnant, and it's kind of weird to have a kids show talk about pregnancy, because most kids shows if there's going to be a baby, they're like, "Oh, look, we had a baby."
It just magically showed up, which to be fair is kind of what happens in the show.
Sort of.
The puppies are just born. It's not like they're birthed during the show or anything.
No, they're not. They do show her pregnant a couple times. She's basically just this long moving rainbow, and in the middle of the rainbow is a little prego bump.
There's a prego bump.
It's adorable.
And she only speaks Korean.
So is it Korean?
Yeah, it's Korean.
Okay.
So who the hell knows what she says during the show?
Jake does.
Yeah, Jake understands Korean. Apparently dogs and rainicorns speak Korean.
Oh.
Because there was a great dog-rainicorn war hundreds of years ago.
Apparently. One of my favorite parts is when they encounter the Great Birdman. It's actually Zergiat, the ex spanking Goblin King. And they're trying to figure out whether or not he's actually become a good guy. And they start going through his mail, and Finn picks it up, and it's like, "Oh, it's just these weird blocks with bumps on them." And Jake is like, "Oh, it's letters from a hospital. This guy's thanking him for his kidney." And he goes, "Oh, you can read the bumps?" He goes, "Yeah, I had one of my ex-girlfriends taught me how to read Braille." And Finn goes, "Your ex-girlfriend was blind?" And he goes, "No, just really cool." What? Okay. And then there's this whole running gag with there's a lot of developing morality in the show.
Totally.
Finn references his alignment a lot.
Yay, D&D jokes.
Yeah, he says a lot of the time, he's like, well, that's kind of against my alignment. And then Jake,
at one point they straight up say, I guess you could go against your alignment, but it's going to cost you experience points.
They do.
I think that's when he gets together with Fire Princess.
It is. Princess Bubblegum says that,
yeah.
actually. It's wonderful. But I love this whole idea that you're, like, developing your own morality, even if it goes against your alignment. Especially with Jake. Apparently he used to run with this elaborate thieving gang. Like,
yeah, Jake used to be a horrible person, apparently.
Like, think Ocean's 11 type stuff. That's what he used to do with Tiffany. And anytime he references it, he's like, yeah, that was back when I was a thief. You know, before I knew it was wrong.
I just didn't know it was wrong. Like when he constantly brings that up in the in the City of Thieves episode.
Yeah, he says, that was before I knew it was wrong. Which is weird because he grew up with Finn. I still don't quite understand this timeline. They're brothers. They grew up together. But apparently Jake has this history of being a thief for a while. I don't know. It's weird.
I like to think that Jake just fucks with Finn all the time.
I think he does. A lot.
Yeah. Finn's pretty fun to fuck with, I would assume.
Yeah.
Finn's basically there to make fun of the stereotypical white dude hero.
Yeah.
Like, he's it's not that I don't like Finn. I do. Finn's awesome, but I love how they make fun of the white dude hero with Finn.
Yeah. So often it kind of backfires on him.
Yeah.
He thinks he's actually helping someone, and then it turns out, no, he's not.
When he's white knighting all the time.
Yeah. One of the best episodes, it's in the first season. It's when he decides he will never turn down anyone asking for help. And it turns out everybody asking for help in that episode is contradictory to what everybody else wants. Like there's this sentient mountain that doesn't like roughhousing.
I love that episode.
And the men in the village below that live below the mountain like to roughhouse, and so Finn is like, oh, I have an idea. So he just ties a bunch of animals to their feet and hands, and it's adorable because it's like somebody has like kittens tied to their hands, and he punches another guy, and all you hear is mew. Someone else has pigs tied to his feet, and he kicks somebody, and it just says oink. And it's really cute. And then he goes up to the mountain. He goes, "Is that better?" And he says, "No,
that's even worse."
Because now you're just hurting animals.
They're beating the crap out of each other with animals. Like, it's terrible, and it just gets worse and worse.
But he eventually somehow finds a way to make everybody happy. That's one of my favorite episodes. And if you haven't watched the show, you should check that one out. One thing I want to point out is that there's a lot of magic and stuff in the show, but Princess Bubblegum is a scientist. Like, she's the only scientist in the show. Yep. And they have this whole they have one episode centering on that where one of her subjects is sick and is refusing the actual medicine because he would rather have a wizard give him a cold spell. He wants to have a cold spell instead of actual medicine. So she jokes around and she's like, what if I do this? Wigga wigga boo boo, cold medicine. And then he gets mad that she's like being offensive to his beliefs. And it's
you're
pretty much
mocking my belief in magic.
It's pretty much a whole like mocking the idea of magic because she has a scientific explanation for everything that happens. And the science in this show is just crazy. Like, there's multiple dimensions and parallel universes. There's weird time traveling type stuff.
Yeah.
There's also it's kind of treated almost like it's all a computer program because there's a source code episode where Ice King decides, and this is one of my favorite Princess Bubblegum moments. The Ice King decides that since Princess Bubblegum said she wouldn't go out with him.
Even if he was the last person on Earth.
So he messes with the source code of the universe. to delete everything else except for Princess Bubblegum and Ice King. And she goes, well, you're not the last person on Earth. I am. So she starts making out with her own hand. Because you have to make out with something, I guess.
I guess.
But then at the end of the episode, her hand starts making out with Jake's hand. They're like, I missed you, baby. And then Jake's hand said, I miss you too.
It's so random.
It is really random. And that's part of the humor of the show that I really love, is the randomness. It's not quite like Family Guy randomness. It's part of the show, but also not.
Well, I like that it's like a really weird kid show, but it also clearly has feminist roots to it, and they definitely talk about consent and lots of other fun feministy things throughout the show. And gender norms are played with a lot.
We can't talk about playing with gender norms without
talking about BMO!
Oh my god. Okay, if you haven't watched the show, BMO is like this, it's kind of, she or he, Z, is a combination
They
of,
interchange gender pronouns with BMO all the time, so...
And BMO never corrects them. I guess she doesn't care.
Yep, he certainly doesn't.
Yeah. So, BMO is kind of like this Game Boy / computer type thing, but she's sentient. And she's kind of childish, like childlike, sort of. But again, they gender swap with him. They switch pronouns all the time. They've called him she and he and whatever.
Well,
and BMO just doesn't care.
I love when BMO has like his little fantasies in the bathroom where he's pretending to be either a real human boy or a real human girl, because he pretends to be both at different times. My favorite is when she's sitting on the toilet with a cup of water and then pours it in and pretends to pee. Yay, BMO! It's hilarious.
What's really funny in that episode is that Finn and Jake are watching through the window because they like have this checklist of stuff that they have to do, and one of them is make sure BMO does weird stuff when we're not around.
I have a video of the best BMO phrases.
All right, we'll go ahead and play this video because I love BMO so much.
BMO's my favorite.
Go ahead.
Finn, I know where your stuff is. Finn,
Why
is it playing more than one?
I don't know. That's weird. Why is it doing that?
I don't know.
No.
Oh no!
What are you doing?
BMO. I have all the bread you need.
Let's try this again.
Oops! I forgot to listen to your story. We need to make that a draw.
Hey, BMO, I gotta snag my mug from you.
Oh, really?
Hey, don't sweat it. I'm making some hot chocolate.
Jake, you drive a hard burger.
I mean, if you feel the same way, I thought we could get married. I mean...
Bubble. It's another
not sure what that
gender
means exactly,
indeterminate person.
Oh, I do.
Hey, a bubble! Pop!
No, my bubble! No!
What's so funny?
Oh, it's just BMO. He's pretending to be all messed up because his bubble got popped.
Oh. The best part about the popped bubble is that it turns out the being inside the bubble that BMO had fallen in love with turned out to actually just be air. And then the air gives a speech to BMO about how, like, it sounds super creepy. He's like, and now we can always be together, and I'll be there with you when you're sleeping and awake, and when you use the bathroom, I'll always be there with you. And, like, the camera, like, dramatically pans into BMO, and BMO goes, yay!
Oh, that is pretty funny.
Oh, Bubba, I'm so sorry I brought you here.
Aww.
There, BMO. It's okay.
Oh, this is it.
Bubba, is that you?
Is this it?
I hear you in my head, but I don't see you. Oh no, have I gone bananas?
I'm going out for a quick walk in the woods. Oh. BMO, you look after him with your camera eyes.
If anyone tries to hurt Finn, I will kill them.
Okay, good.
I will kill you.
BMO, how do I look?
Like the devil. Who wants to play video games?
Me.
Finn, Jake. I I invited some bikini babes over to dance to this song.
It's BMO's favorite song.
I love the way BMO dances.
I wish we weren't just an audio show.
My favorite song. It makes me so happy.
Here's your controller, BMO.
Yippee-ki-yay! Oh, oh, BMO, how'd you get so pregnant? Who's the father? Shh, I'll tell you if you keep it a secret. We will. Alright, last night an electric presence came into my room and said, BMO, I need your perfect body to host the human incarnation of a baby. Okay, an external hard drive. Oh, changing the fin by giving him my body.
BMO, your ideas are boring.
What? Your head on my body isn't boring. It's weird.
Oh!
BMO hit you on the butt.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's the best friend song.
Why are you fighting with your friend Jake? You know, this can be the end. Romance or action does not matter. Hurting your friend will make you sadder. Guys, you know,
BMO.
you're
Is the
not
rest of it
more
this?
than this.
Uh,
You two, please stop, or you're undone.
I don't care if it is. No, there's
Oh,
still
that you feel
all kinds of BMO moments. Because BMO's the best character ever.
Agreed. Your love will not
My favorite
kill
characters
me.
are BMO and LSP,
Alright, BMO,
Lumpy Space
back in
Princess.
an hour. You sure you don't need anything from the grocery kingdom?
No, I don't need anything. Thank
This
you.
is it!
Okay, goodbye, Finn and Jake.
Bye, BMO.
Yeah, see you later, BMO.
This is BMO pretending to be a human.
Well, we can't see what BMO's doing.
Finn? Jake? Well, hello there. Oh, hello. Who are you? My name is Football. What's yours? I am Bimo.
Football?
Bimo, are you
Fubo.
a robot? Oh, no, Football. I am a little living boy. Oh, that sounds wonderful, Bimo. Will you teach me about being alive? Yes, Football. Watch me.
BMO's pretending to brush his teeth.
They
And
have
then hitting his face with a bar of soap.
they have this all the time in another episode where BMO's teaching Fubo. Fubo is his
Alter ego, I guess.
reflection, basically. BMO teaches Fubo how to drink tea.
Oh, thank you, Football. It's really nothing.
That's when BMO's pretending to be a human girl.
But Lorraine
Yeah.
set him up to kill Bede. But the Flatfoot busted Ronnie, and Lorraine skedaddled with the loot. But Bimo solved the case. Yay, Bimo!
That is my favorite episode. Will you pause it?
B Noir, right?
It's called BMO Noir, and it's one of the three episodes that's basically all BMO, and it starts out because Jake loses his sock, so BMO takes the case, and the whole episode it's just like
BMO's headcanon, basically.
BMO talking to like there's this rat. And these things all actually live in the treehouse with them, but they don't actually have personalities in the show. BMO just gives them personalities, and it's really great. It's this whole BMO detective thing, and she eventually finds Jake's sock.
I like when Jake wears makeup, because he does it on multiple occasions.
Oh yeah.
When he has mascara and then draws the target-looking thing on his face. And at one point, Finn says, "That it looks like you drew a target on your face." No, it's not. I'm pretty.
He gets angry about it.
He has a purse too. I love the way they fuck with gender on Adventure Time.
I do too.
BMO! BMO!
Bimo Chop.
BMO
For
Chop.
a real attack, you'd be dead.
BMO!
Who wants wants to play video games.
BMO!
That's like the
What's
first
on the menu,
episode.
BMO?
I've created a new game called Conversation Parade.
Start it up,
Alright.
BMO.
What do you think about the stars in the sky?
It's okay, I guess.
Yeah, they're cool.
That is an interesting response. Pero hello, shut down.
BMO, that was weak.
What?
Check, please.
Check, please.
One thing, one of my favorite BMO moments is it's at the very end of an episode. It's been an episode all about Jake whenever he has his babies, his pups. And he goes back home to Jake and BMO because they've been by themselves for a few days and you haven't seen them. And it's like Jake is lying on the floor, like laughing, and BMO is jumping up and down on Jake holding bread. And
Do you mean Finn?
Yeah,
Jumping up and down
BMO
on
is
Finn.
jumping up and down on Finn. I'm sorry. And he's holding bread and singing this weird song, and he's like, I've got all the bread you need. I've got all the bread you need. So anytime I make a sandwich for the boy, or the boy makes a sandwich for me, we're like, I've got all the bread you need. It's wonderful.
I like that during the gender swap episodes, the only person who doesn't change is BMO.
Yeah.
Everyone else changes gender and personalities somewhat, except BMO. BMO's still BMO in the gender swap episodes.
BMO? I don't know. It's just my favorite character. He's cute and makes hilarious, weird one-liners.
And is adorable.
Yes,
I
very
love
adorable. If next pet I get, I'm gonna name it BMO.
BMO.
Regardless.
It doesn't matter what gender the pet is either. You can still name them BMO.
So, did you want to talk about Ice King being a PUA a little longer, or?
We can.
I didn't know how much time we had left.
Well, we've been on the air for 2 hours, so.
All right. Maybe 15 more minutes.
All right.
All right. So, we've talked about this a little bit before. There's this book that comes up occasionally in the show. It's called Mind Games, and it focuses on how to get women. It's by J.T. Dogzone, sometimes spelled DAWGZONE, because that's cooler.
Yep.
Finn and the Ice King have both tried to use the advice, but Jake says the book is full of bad advice. And he keeps it just as a joke.
My favorite is when Finn is like, I'm trying to be mysterious, man. And
yeah.
And he's being mysterious by not filling in Princess Bubblegum about his plans for, like, a really serious situation.
Yeah, he needs to tell Princess Bubblegum this, but he doesn't because he's trying to be mysterious. There's one other admirer of Mind Games. There's an episode called The Suitor, where Bracco is Princess Bubblegum's suitor, and apparently his father and his grandfather both tried to be suitors of Princess Bubblegum, and he goes to his grandfather's tomb, and he has a copy of the book Mind Games, which apparently there's a chapter on peacocking. And for those not in the know, peacocking is when you, like, I guess it's telling dudes to dress nice to get a girl's attention. Is that
I guess
a way of putting it? And so Bracco goes and gets this ridiculous golden hat thing. Like, it's this giant golden hat, and puts it on his head. And Princess Bubblegum is sitting, like, out on a cafe eating lunch and doing work and whatever. And Bracco walks over, just, like, walking past with this hat, and he goes, Princess Bubblegum, I'm peacocking you. It's just really great.
There's so many adult innuendos in the show.
Yeah. Which I guess the show is more for older kids than younger ones.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, given the time that it's on, I think it's on at 8:00, which is kind of like the in between time. Like, it's between regular cartoon programming and Adult Swim. So
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of appropriate where it's like kind of for adults, kind of for older kids.
I don't know. I love the show though,
It's fucking awesome. I don't care who it's intended for.
I advise everybody to go out and watch this show, and I swear next time we talk about it, we'll be more organized. But we just had to like geek out on it and just talk about whatever.
I'm gonna say, what are you talking about? This is organized. We're protesting the Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
By not being prepared.
Fuck you, Boy Scouts.
Fucking Boy Scouts.
All right.
And their homophobic nonsense.
And atheist.
And atheophobic?
Is that a word?
I don't know.
They don't let atheists in either. Fuck them. So,
apparently the Girl Scouts got rid of their, like, they just got rid of their mention of God altogether, from what I heard.
Woo! You don't need that shit.
They used to just let you basically replace God with whatever the fuck you wanted, because they were like, we don't care.
We just want you to sell cookies for us.
Right.
And have a good time.
We just want you to be a feminist.
Oh, what was it? A feminist, lesbian, commie? I don't...
And probably a witch on top of it.
Probably a witch. Yeah. So, that's all the time we have tonight. Join us next week for our special Skepticon show.
Skepticon!
Woo!
It'll probably be multiple episodes during Skepticon.
Probably won't be one full episode. We'll probably do a whole bunch of stuff. So be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Spreaker. You know, that way you can keep up with what we're doing during the week. Tonight's episode was brought to you by Audible.com. For your free 30-day trial and a free audiobook of your choice, go to www.audibletrial.com/Shethinkers. And now, in the interest of being fair and unbiased, here is today's counter-argument.
But only in the last 5, 10, 15 years has bullying become such a big issue. And folks, the whole bullying idea is built around the homosexual agenda, to try to get people not to criticize or make fun of or poke fun at homosexuals. That is the whole genesis of the no bullying. That's where it all came from. What is hate speech legislation? See, they say hate speech prevents bullying, but it's just the opposite. Hate speech increases bullying. In fact, when someone says something that their conscience tells them to say and everyone rises up against them, then we see the majority begin to bully the minority once again. And you know what's rapidly happening in America? We're beginning to see Christians and Christian ideas and Christian values become the most bullied things in all of this nation. I don't like bullying, but bullying is a part of life. And if we want to be able to make Americans tough again, we are training some of the softest children in the history of the world. My father's generation, the greatest generation, would be ashamed of how sissified we've allowed our children to become. Because why? Government nanny, public school nanny has to step in and prevent every type of psychological damage that might ever be done to every kid.
Shut up, Chip, or I'll go ape shit on your ass. I'm gonna scissor kick you in the back of the head. I'm 10 years old, but I'll beat your ass. Chip, I'm gonna come at you like a spider monkey. Greatest generation, my ass. Tom Brokaw is a punk. Chip, I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
I love that.
Lift me up, let me go on silvery. Planet smooth while you're lying next to me. Like the sun high above, you're the whip and the glove. Miss me sweetly, I'd hide you find me. See some toys dull, never know what I'm looking for. Right on top of every wave the ocean Seesaw, my toy store. Never know what I'm looking for. Right on top of every wave the ocean makes. And I read it in a storybook that a telltale heart is well understood. And you couldn't do a thing for me. I'm much past help, you see. Hear that sound fly around the world on a balloon trip. Take my love, double it and triple it. Show my hand, it's not too bad, not too soft and not too hard. Miss me sweetly, I had you find me. Seesaw, my toy store. Never know what I'm looking for. Right on top of every wave the ocean makes. Right on top of every wave the ocean makes. Every breath the world takes.
It's Easter egg time.
Easter eggs. What's it gonna be tonight, Dory?
Well,
I don't know why I'm whispering.
I don't know either. We're gonna sing my favorite, one of my favorite songs in Adventure Time. It's the, in case you didn't figure out that PB and Marceline had a thing together, this like pretty much slaps you in the face with it.
I can't believe we didn't talk about that in
Yep.
our thing.
We are now.
Okay.
All right, let's sing it.
Okay.
La da 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 da, I'm gonna bury you in the ground. La da 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 da, I'm gonna bury you with my sound. I'm gonna drink the red from your pretty pink face. I'm gonna...
Marceline, that's too distasteful.
Oh, you don't like
that?
Or do you just not like me? Sorry, I don't treat you like a goddess. Is that what you want me to do? Sorry, I don't treat you like you're perfect, like all your little loyal subjects do. Sorry, I'm not made of sugar, and I'm not sweet enough for you. Is that why you always avoid me? That must be such an inconvenience to you. Well, I'm just your problem. I'm just your problem. Like I'm not even a person, and I'm just your problem. Well, I shouldn't have to justify what I do. I shouldn't have to prove anything to you. I'm sorry that
It's working! Look at the door!
Me on your blacklist, but I shouldn't have to be the one that makes up with you. So why do I want to? Why do I want to bury you in the ground and drink the blood from your...
I love that episode. It's one of my favorites.
Hooray, obvious breakup song. All right,